Big muscle. Many of us dream that, but it's not easy without the right food for muscle growth. Let's rank this food here in the ultimate popular muscle building food tier list from a nutritionist and health bestseller perspective. Now let me tell you the rules about this. Each food will count as organic and very, very high quality, so low pollution, low toxins. Also, the values I'm going to give you are for 100 grams, 3.5 ounces of the food, and we will count it as raw. And yes, I have cheated a little bit for one of the foods, but it was worth mentioning it because it's really, really good. Now, let's see what we're going to consider today for muscle growth. We're going to consider the essential amino acids, which are the important building blocks for your body, for your muscles. Then we're going to consider the presence and the amount of branched chain amino acid, BCAA. These are the most important ones for the muscle. And between all of them, there is one which is the most important one, which is the amino acid known as leucine. And finally, we're going to see the balance between the protein and all of the other nutrients. Ready? If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now, let's have a look right here. Muscle growth happens when enough calories plus the right building blocks, which are the amino acids, are present. But of all of them, the most important ones are branched chain amino acid, or BCAA. They're very famous. You probably have heard of them. These are the most important ones. But very important, you can only grow your muscle 50% of its maximum growth only with branched chain amino acid. The growth is not going to be the best unless you also add the essential amino acid. You can really reach 100% of your potential when we combine the number of essential amino acid, good levels of branched chain amino acid, good levels of leucine, which is the most important amino acid for muscle growth. With that out of the way, with that said, let's see which one is going to reign supreme. I will put these 8 popular very food in a contest to see which one wins, which one will score the highest, and proceed to the Champions League of the foods. Let's find out with one of the powerhouses right away, chicken. Now, chicken has 165 kilocalories every 100 grams, 3.6 grams of fat. This is chicken breast, obviously. No carbs and 31 grams of protein, of which, have a look at this, 1.6 of valine, 1.5 of leucine, and 2.5 of leucine. Why is this important? Well, let me tell you why. So we have a good balance of the essential amino acid, 5.6 grams of branched chain amino acid every 100 with 2.5 grams of leucine, which is amazing. There are low calories, low fat. Obviously, you need to remember to eat enough, because everything which is low calories and low fat is not going to make you bigger if you don't eat enough. But with this profile of amino acid, which is the main focus of this video here, this is easily low S tier. Next one, we have lupini beans. And lupini beans, they have 371 kilocalories, 10 grams of fat, 40 grams of carbs, but that's not really true because 19 of them are fiber, and 36 grams of proteins, which is really high, even higher than chicken. Now we have valine 1.5, isoleucine 1.2, leucine 1.9, not as great, but still good. Where do we put this? Well, we have a good spread of essential amino acid, 4.6 grams of branched chain amino acid, which is really good, not as great as chicken, but really good, 1.9 of leucine, but we also have 36 grams of protein every 100, which is really good. Excellent fiber for detoxification and elimination. There are some carbs in here, so you have to consider that, especially if you want to be like cut. But overall, high A tier is absolutely fair for lupini beans. Next, a very famous one, eggs. Now, eggs, they have 139 kilocalories, 10 grams of fat, and 1 grams of carb, and 13 grams of protein, of which 0.9 of valine, 0.7 of isoleucine, 1.1 of leucine. So where are we going to put them? Well, if you consider that the branched chain amino acid are only 2.6, the amount of protein is only 13 out of 100 grams, they don't really score that high. Yeah, of course, they have good fat, they can help you, hormonal production, but low B tier is the best that I can give to eggs. Next, we have beef. Beef, they have 215 kilocalories. Now, this is like a beef steak, obviously. About 13 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein. Now, what does it mean for us? It means that we have 1.3 grams of valine, 1.2 of isoleucine, 2.1 of leucine, which is really, really good. So where are we going to put it? Well, we get good levels of essentials. We have 4.6 grams of branched chain amino acid and 2.1 of leucine, and this is really good. There are also good fat, and which is something that needs to be remembered, because like you need fat to make testosterone, which is the main male hormone for you to be able to grow. Without testosterone, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to grow, and you cannot make a testosterone if you don't have fat. So where do we put it? I think there is a case for lowest tier, but I think I'm gonna put it into high A tier. And overall, considering the branched chain amino acid, I think it's fair for beef, for cow, to go slightly above lupini beans, but there is a case of one being better than the other. They're almost equivalent, I would say. Next we have salmon, and salmon has 136 kilocalories, 6 grams of fat, 0 carbs, 20 grams of protein. Now, speaking of the branched chain, we have 1 of valine, 0.9 of isoleucine, which is not great, and 1.6 of leucine, which is not great either. Where do we put salmon? So it's fairly okay when it comes to essential amino acid. The total sum of branched chain amino acid is 3.5 grams, which is good but not great. Leucine 1.6, again good but not great. But it does have some redemption, okay? It does have a very good fat profile of the best fat of them all, which are the omega-3, and these are very, very important. Why? Because omega-3 fatty acid, they really help fighting inflammation. And if you want to understand more about inflammation, I have the video on the nuts, which you will be able to find in the card up here or in the video description. That can help you with that. Now, why are these important for you when it comes to building muscle? Because the more omega-3, they're going to fight the inflammation, and you're gonna get faster recovery, so you can train earlier. Like, remember, like essentially, if your muscle are fully recovered, you can train a bit more, you can grow a bit more, because each time you can break down the muscle a bit more, and it's gonna come back stronger and stronger, and each time. Now, where are we going to put this? So there is a case between top B tier and low A tier. And I would say with the amount of omega-3, I'm going to put it into low A tier, but it would be okay also high B tier. So for now, low A tier, but there is a case also for the other one. Next in our list, we have dried spirulina, and this is the one I told you I cheated a bit, because now if we take normal spirulina, which is an algae, and we just eat the spirulina as an algae, the values are pathetic. But I took this as a powder because it does really have a lot of really, really good values. It can really help with your detoxification. So this we're gonna get in here. Now, kilocalories 388, which is much higher than anything else in here. Obviously, it's a powder, it's gonna be much higher. 8 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbs, and 57 out of 100 grams of protein, which is really, really, really good. Now, let's have a look to the branched chain. 3.5 of valine, 3.2 of isoleucine, 4.9 of leucine. So I really cheated in here because I wanted to add some shock. I wanted to like a non-meat food to win. So that's why I put it like that. Now, where do we put it in here, and how important is this? So we have 11.6 grams out of 100 of branched chain amino acid with 4.9 grams of leucine, which is the most powerful one, which is incredibly, incredibly powerful, okay? Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we also have high calories, decent fat, decent carbs, and also amazing spread of proteins. So if we compare this with the best one that we found so far, which is chicken, is dried spirulina better than chicken when it comes to muscle growth with this kind of amino acid and this kind of protein? The answer is yes. Now, the reason why I say this is a bit cheating is because, very simply, if we were to put like high quality whey protein, that would be even better, okay? That wouldn't really count. I was considering food, so I did cheat a little bit here, but spirulina for your muscle growth is really, really good. It doesn't have only one downside, and that's the reason why I don't put it like in high S tier. It doesn't really taste good, at least for me. I don't really like it, but some other people may really like it. I don't, so I can only put it mid S tier. Next one is tuna, and tuna has 140 kilocalories, 5 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs, 24 grams of proteins. Now, valine 1.2, isoleucine 1.1, leucine 1.9, which is fairly good. Now, where do we put tuna in our list? So it does come with good calories. It does have some fat, and remember, some fat are important for you to be able to make testosterone. They're decent protein overall because 24 out of 100 is fairly good. 4.2 grams of branched chain amino acid, which is good. Leucine 1.9, which is good. And between all of the ones we're going to see here, with the exception obviously of chicken and spirulina, is the best source of tryptophan. Why is this important? Because tryptophan is needed by your body to make a very important neurotransmitter called serotonin, which is the happy hormone. And obviously now, for you to be able to grind, for you to be able to fight, to become like the best and most muscular version of yourself, you need your mood. You need to be able to fight, because some days it's going to be difficult. Some days you're going to have a lot of DOMs. Some days it's going to be like very, very much of an issue to go to the gym, and you need to be strong and you need to be able to do this. So with all of that said, where do we put tuna? I think it's very fair, mid A tier, better than salmon, but not as good as beef and lupini beans. So midway A tier, really, really good. The final one, tofu. So tofu has 154 kilocalories, 9 grams of fat, 3 grams of carb, and only 17 grams of protein. And we've seen here, it's not the best one because valine 0.9, isoleucine 0.8, leucine 1.4, which is not bad, but not great either. So what do we do here? There are decent calories, there are fast-to-make hormones, especially testosterone, decent pro, but 17 is not really great. There are very good essential amino acids, so overall the spread of the essential amino acids is really good. There are 3.1 grams of branched chain amino acid, which is fairly good. 1.4 of leucine, which is not great, but not bad either. Is this better than eggs? Probably so. So I think we can put high B tier, maybe a case for mid B tier, but I think it's very fair. Now, let's have a look to what is winning here, what are the final victory, and let's have a look to the final part of the tier list. Here we go. So in the final part of the tier list, we have to consider two things here. One, with spirulina, I cheated because dry means more concentrated, and as I told you before, if we had, for example, high quality whey protein, sometimes they get 72 grams of protein every 100, so it would have been like a clear winner. So overall, I cannot give it to spirulina because I cheated just for the shock effect. So who's gonna win here? Chicken. So chicken breast that lots of bodybuilders use is actually the winner, and so no shock here. Absolutely. So chicken breast passes to the Champions League, when we're going to discuss again about in the next tier list of food for muscle. For now, chicken wins and goes to the next one. Now, generally speaking, when it comes to muscle growth, there are three things that you need to consider when you want to build your muscle. One, the overall calories intake in general, which means that you have to eat more than you actually use in a day if you want to build muscle. If you, for example, you eat 2,500 calories and you only use 2,200 calories, you're going to have 300 extra kilocalories for you to be able to build muscle. Next thing that I want you to consider is the food that you're eating. Largely, they need to consider all the 9 essential amino acids. Without them, you can still grow muscle, but it's not going to be optimized. And 3, you should get the highest amount of branched chain amino acid with a specific, very good focus on leucine to actually be the most successful. So essentially, if you just remember these tips here, you train hard, will absolutely be fine. Now, if you want to watch the next video, you can find it here, or you can subscribe in here. And please comment down below what nutrition tier list you would like to see next. For now, have a great day and speak soon. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.